All right, everyone. Welcome to Nerdcamp Sports. It is Monday night. Do a little bit of a consolidation today, but we're going to get a show in here. It's that time of year where sports is there, but it's not there. There, but it's not there.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
but we're here. How you feeling tonight, brother?
man, I'm feeling great. Was happy to the fact that pretty much all weekend we got opportunity to check out some preseason football, which made me feel like sports is back instead of just watching baseball. So it felt good. Felt really good, man.
What are some of the takeaways that you've noticed from the preseason so far? Anything that stands out to you specifically?
Yeah, of course, there's the Sudor Sanders saga. I'll say saga because we still don't really know what's going on. Nothing is clear as far as who's going to be the QB1. But I am happy that he got opportunity to showcase his skills. A lot of people are now on Twitter talking about, oh, well, he went up against the first team in the first quarter, then the second quarter he went up against the third and fourth team. I'm like, look, he went out there, he balled out, put up incredible numbers, got 2 touchdowns. I don't care what kind of team, first team, second team, third team. He showed that he could throw touchdowns on a professional level. So I was excited to see that. But also, I was excited to see um, Trey Lance in uniform and playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. He put up a pretty impressive stats too. Um, I don't know what's going to happen as far as if he's going to remain a backup quarterback or if they're going to move him along. But he's definitely showing the skills to that he had when he first got drafted. Even in college, when he was playing college football, he had skills. But just in his preseason 2 games that he played, he put up multiple touchdowns and showed that he's actually mobile and he's running around and doing a lot of great things, man. So I was definitely impressed by those 2 things. And lastly, I want to say I was kind of impressed with Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay.
Tua, played I think 1 drive or maybe 2 drives during a preseason game and showed that he could still play, still show that he can ball. But of course, we know how it goes. He's a person that's a fair weather quarterback. So if it's cold outside, he's not showing up. Um,
Exactly.
so I feel like he's got the skill to become a top 10 quarterback, maybe top 5 if he can stay healthy in the league. But it's just that he just don't play well in the cold, man. It gets cold outside. He freezes up.
Absolutely. Um, those are some good points. I really don't follow the preseason fully. Because we know mostly it's about guys trying to make the final few spots that are on the roster. But
Right.
one thing I did see is that the Cincinnati Bengals defensively have the same problems. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
that and that O line is still a little suspicious. And for a team that has been to the Super Bowl in recent years, you have an elite quarterback. An elite. You have arguably the best QB wide receiver connection in the whole league.
Right.
Arguably, and you're still not doing what you need to do to get this team over the hump. You're going to have to play Baltimore twice.
Right.
You're going to have to play the Steelers twice. These are the
Yes. Yeah.
four
Yeah.
games you want to split if possible. You want obviously you want to go 2-0, but you want to
Right.
at least split it. And the way that they're looking, because we've seen that obviously offense being the defense also isn't working for them, right?
Right.
Because the Bengals will go out there and put up 50 points, but then they allow
Hmm.
53. So, you know, that's one thing that stood out to me was that, that they're still their offense is still, or their defense rather, is having the same old problems.
Right.
It's just not getting any better. Um, and that's something that they definitely need to work on.
Yeah.
Because
You know what? I also view this team as one of those showcase teams that's great to watch, but
yep,
it's not a team that I look forward to seeing in the playoffs. And I know they said if they don't fix things, things are going to have to change with the Cincinnati Bengals, but nothing changed. Nothing changed. And if you notice, like Joe Burrow, he's in a better mindset right now. You know what I mean? Because last season, I mean, I know there's injuries, but it just seemed like he wasn't really 100% locked in. But
right.
now it seems like he's more or less dedicated. And I know it's only preseason, but it showed that like he's ready to ball. And he had like what 123 yards, 9 for 10,
Yeah,
2 touchdowns. It shows that he's ready and he's healthy. So I think it's gonna be an uphill battle unless they fix that defensive front.
yeah. That line needs a lot of work if they're going to move forward and be able to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, I haven't seen much that really stands out um, to me personally.
Right.
Um, Outside of the stuff that you named, because like I said, it is preseason, so we're happy to see the football, but it's
Yeah.
just like a tease. It's like it's like when you go to the club, and you buy the girl the drink, but you don't take her home. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
that's preseason. It's like it's just a tease, but you know what? At least we know it's coming.
Yeah.
You
And we got
know,
another what 3 weeks before the regular season start.
I think it starts
So
fourth.
I think it
Yeah, the
starts on the
fourth.
ninth. So yeah.
Well, the first, Dallas and Philly's the fourth. That
Oh, it's
Thursday.
on the fourth. Okay.
Yep, and then seventh is the first Sunday.
Got you. Got you. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to of course, just witness and see. But yeah, it's preseason. It is what it is.
Absolutely. So we understand that television streaming is starting to become the wave.
Yes.
I have told people, I told my stepson about 5 years ago that 5 years from then, GameStop would no longer be a thing.
Right.
And it's still there, but it's not the go to. That
Yeah.
same standard goes forward with television. I do believe that within 5 to 10 years, we're going to be regular cable television. I think it will be obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to say that, but when Netflix, right? You look at Netflix, you look at Peacock, you look at Amazon, you look at Hulu, you look at Amazon Prime, you look at Tubi, you look at all these different streamers.
Right.
Now all of them have original content, original shows,
Mm-hmm.
original stuff, and then they bring in other shows.
Right.
These powerhouses now, they're figuring out ways to where now networks are selling their prime real estate in order to make money. The NFL network we know has essentially given the rights to the NFL Red Zone along with other things to ESPN,
Right.
and equity was given to ESPN and the NFL, right?
Yes.
Okay, I keep getting
Mhm.
it mixed up.
Yeah. No. Well, the NFL got equity in. They
ESPN,
got 10% equity in the ESPN. Yeah.
yeah. So you look at that, right? You look at that as the start. But
Mm-hmm.
then WWE, who was taken over by TKO last year,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they went out and now they have signed a deal to have a $1.6 billion deal to give PLEs exclusively to this ESPN app.
Right.
Now, as a wrestling fan, this kind of sucks, and I'm going to tell you why this as a wrestling fan this sucks. So the WWE, you want to bring it to ESPN, cool, that's your prerogative. But now that's $29.99 on an app. Now, as it stands now, their library stands on Peacock. That library is up for grabs. So if Peacock doesn't retain it, it's got it's going to go somewhere.
Right.
Now, the smart thing to do, at least for the consumer, is to put all that onto Netflix. That probably won't happen. So now let's just use Peacock because it's there. That's another 12 to 15 bucks, right? Now you got Raw, which is on my TV now, is on Netflix. I don't know what everyone else pays for Netflix, but I have 4 screens. I pay $25 for Netflix.
20
So,
29.99 when you add the tax, Mike.
well, actually, my stepdaughter pays for it because I went to cancel it. She wanted to keep it. I said, "You want to keep it? You can pay for it," and she pays for it.
Hey,
Hey,
it's a
listen,
cheap bill. It's a cheap
times
bill.
got rough, man. Decisions had to be made. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you look at that those things, and then as a fan, and then watching SmackDown on regular TV. It's
Yeah.
and cats were complaining when WWE Network was $9.99. So to those people who were bitching, you can go fuck yourselves because you're the reason why we're in this situation. But I do know that it's all about money. Peacock was offering $275 million a year to keep WWE. ESPN offered 325 million over, I think it's 10 years. It equals like 1.6 billion dollars. So, in that regard, as a wrestling fan, this is really bad, horrible, awful. For WWE and ESPN, this is good. It's money. Though the WWE's put themselves on a pedestal. Now, when it comes to UFC teaming up with Paramount Plus, this is a good thing. And the reason is because, people would spend all this money to watch UFC, 60, 70, $80 to watch a fight go. Sometimes the main event's quick, over in the first round. I think for them it's better because now it's with Paramount Plus and it opens up new eyes to the product. Like me, I'm starting to watch UFC, but I'm not fully into it. So this gives me an opportunity to say, okay, I can take the time to get to know the fighters, understand everything, because I'm not spending $100 to watch it by myself. That's just crazy. I already have Paramount Plus, so I mean, we understand this is the way the world's going. I've accepted that portion of it, but it's just like now it's just like you're getting into people's pockets, and then like the same thing with like NFL with Amazon. You know, you got the Prime and then the Peacock, and they're using Netflix. It's the same thing. They're all doing it. And then look, monkey see, monkey do. Starting this season, the NBA's doing it. So I understand that portion, but it's just really, as a fan, it sucks financially.
I agree.
You guys have anything to add
30,
on to the streaming future here?
$30 a month. Sure. It's just it's ridiculous, man.
Bro,
It's
30.
I understand that that's the way of the world and that's where things are trending. Is to streaming. We've been saying this. Excuse me. A lot of people have been saying this for at least, maybe the past 10 years, saying that things were heading in a direction where it was going to, like, boil down to a lot of streaming services and or streaming, period. But I ain't think it would get this expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. Because you got
Right.
everybody, like you said, everybody on the money grab right now. So you got all these different, next is going to be baseball, then probably hockey, follow behind it. Like everybody, like you said, it's always gonna be monkey see, monkey do. Are they doing it like this and making money? Oh shit, look, we try it too. So
Mhm.
it's really unfair to the consumer, to be honest with you. But it really goes to show you how much they telling us how much they don't really give a fuck about the consumer. To be honest with you, they don't give a damn.
I
Have you
agree.
seen the price of wrestling tickets? Monday
Well,
Night Raw was just here two Mondays ago. No, last Monday I think. Last Monday
I
I
think it
think
was. Yeah,
was Detroit.
it was near
Yeah,
you last week. Yep.
yeah. Me and one of my good homeboys that lives here in Detroit as well. Of course, you know what I'm saying? We never miss an event. We always go. Yeah, go. Tickets were too expensive. The ticket prices are for Monday Night Raw looked like we were going to a PLE. What we paid to go to SummerSlam 3 years ago.
Hmm.
As a wrestling fan, it's a big difference in ticket prices between SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw. Yeah, that's
Right.
what those prices looked like last week for Monday Night Raw. It's a money grab, man. It's unfair for the consumers, man. It's unfair. How much money do y'all need? Fucking
Right.
billion-dollar corporations. At some point, when does the consumer be considered?
Hmm.
Right. And I want to say this before Raj jumps in. You know, the Undertaker has a podcast. I think it's called like 6 Feet Under, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I don't watch it all the time, but if there's someone on there I like, I'll tune in. Um,
Yeah,
and Gunther was
like
on,
watch.
and Gunther
Oh, you
was
watch that?
saying that a fan had went and told him, I drove 9 hours to come meet you, and he goes, "What'd you do that for?" Like he told her you could have done so much more. Like, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here, but like, 9 hours to come meet me. It's crazy. Pretty much saying he said she could do something else more better with that time and that money. And for someone to say that, because I'm a fan, but I ain't never done nothing crazy like that. 9 hours to go meet someone, like that's crazy. So like, it's good to see that there are still people in their profession who are humbled enough to say things like that. Not to be a douchebag or to be mean to the fan, but to say, I
But like,
appreciate
yeah,
it. But like,
facts.
9 hours of fuel, 9 hours of, you probably stop for food at least twice, there and back, so 18 hours fuel, stopping for food and just the admission, and then you got to pay to take the picture or the signature. Like, you got to pay for everything, for them photo ops. And you got to take it most of the time with your phone. Like, so, you got anything to add in, Raj?
Yeah, real quick. I
Not
want to
much.
say, all these corporations are showing that they don't care about the consumer at all. We all know that, right? But also on the flip side, the consumer is finding ways and alternatives to basically consume content and consume uh, sports. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, right, I personally work nights, so there's a lot of games that I miss, like live games.
Right.
But what I do is I watch a lot of YouTube videos, live YouTube videos and streams where they're basically giving a score and a play-by-play, almost like a radio station. And they also
Okay.
show like whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they're not showing live footage. They're showing the scoreboard or whatever. So I've been doing that for the past, I want to say about 2, maybe 3 years. Like, listening to the football game while I'm working because I can't watch it live stream. So I listen to, play by play from a YouTuber on YouTube. So I say all that to say there's going to be a huge shift in the way that we consume entertainment, and it's coming soon. I don't know if it's going to be, either compressed, like how people watch highlight reels of basketball games instead of watching the full game, or I don't know what it's going to be, but it's definitely going to be a turn of events because they're forcing our hand to do it. They're forcing our hand to not actually participate in this money grab. And a lot of people can't afford 3 or 4 streams. They can't afford Netflix, Peacock, and Paramount. They can't afford it. So the adjustment of the way we consume sports in the next, I would say, probably 2 to 3 years is going to change. And a lot of people are going to notice the difference, and these companies are going to notice the difference, and they're going to have to readjust the way that they present it to us. Because and I'll give you a prime example real quick. Even there was a time when Hulu was 100% about live sports. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like Hulu a couple years ago, right? Now all of a sudden, they pretty much turned their company over to Disney. Now there's no Hulu. This is straight Disney. It's straight Disney. So it just goes to show you that a lot of these stream companies are going to have to form a partnership or a merger in order for them to survive. So in the next, like I said, 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a huge shift very, very soon. But of course, that's going to be determined by the audience, because the audience, we can't take enough. I mean, we had enough. We can't take it anymore. So that's the way I view it.
Absolutely. And I think you were saying it last week, Raj, maybe the week before. I believe we were talking about even the way you consume sports and the way you get your information with
Right.
podcasts.
Yes.
Like you choose who you want to like, who you like. It's not like now, like Sports Center, which I think in that regard, I see ESPN like there, but I can see them changing stuff to their regular station. I don't, down the road, maybe not right now, but down the road. So it's gonna be interesting because even like I said, like I've told you, even like wrestling, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, and that podcast world, which is why I haven't joined it as much as two of my friends want me to, is after the show's over, they go on and they talk about it right after.
Yeah.
It's fresh, so it makes sense, but it's time consuming and it's hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last thing I want to just add in about, like, podcasting and uncensored and unfiltered information and content. That's why it's so beautiful. That's why what we do and what other podcasters do is so beautiful, because we're not coming in with the corporate dollar. We're not coming in from a place where, oh, we got to watch what we say. Because I was watching this thing with these like former ESPN guys that are now like have their podcasts, like Dan Lebertard and Pablo Torre and stuff like that. And they was like, yo, they missed $1 billion bag by signing these people to podcast deals. And I'm gonna be quite honest, I'm glad they didn't sign a podcast deal with ESPN, because think about it. Someone like Shannon Sharp, right? Who pretty much built his name off of his own brand. Well, he did build his name off his own brand, right? Was forced out of ESPN, his part-time job, because he wasn't there full-time. He was there, I think, 3 days a week, for like
mainly Monday, Tuesday, but sometimes he would come in Wednesday.
Two to three.
2 to 3 days
Like
a
they
week.
do the little college on Fridays. He would do that, but 2 to 3 days a week. That's it.
Yeah. So his part-time job at ESPN, which was worth millions. I'm not trying to, discredit it, but what I'm saying is his brand is bigger than ESPN. His brand is bigger than ESPN, and the people know it, because even right now, after all those lawsuits, after all those people talking bad about him, people are still tuning in. So it just goes to show you, like, independent media is becoming stronger in the times like this. So I just want to throw that out there, because even though it might not seem like it's a lot, that, a lot of traction, there's a lot of traction for independent media, and it's going to keep growing.
Absolutely. And to that point also, but once you build a brand, even when you have issues, people will still respect your brand, and people will still do it. Listen, I don't agree with what R. Kelly did, but it doesn't take away from his music. People, people, people say certain things about Michael Jackson. Doesn't take away from his music. So once you build that brand, and once you build who you are, people will still respect the work, even if they don't respect what you did individually in your personal life.
Right.
So, switching gears here. This one's gonna be a little bit of a quickie, so I'm just gonna get it out of the way. What are y'all thoughts on OKC hanging up their brand new championship build banner with Kevin Durant on opening night in the building?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And the NBA, shout out to the NBA for making that one of the key things to do on the schedule. I'm going to tell you why. Because as petty and as much of a troll that Kevin Durant is on Twitter, oh, this is going to be worth every bit of watching, to see him watch that banner that he could have created with Russell Westbrook and the rest of the OKC Thunder, right? If he stayed, allowed the young squad, the almost the exact archetype of what they were when they started, right?
Yeah.
And watching that banner go up, and then they play the Rockets. I'm definitely going to be watching that, because Kevin Durant deserves that. He's jumping from team to team. He's, losing his freaking mind trying to win championships out here. And guess what? He became the biggest villain when he left OKC and went to the Golden State Warriors that already won a championship. So shout out to the NBA for that move.
What about you, R&B? What do you think?
Man, I'm gonna just keep it like you said, short and sweet. I done already gave you a Kevin Durant rant before. I ain't gonna give you one today. I just say, what's the old saying? The roosters coming home to what is it?
The Roosters coming home to roost.
Yep.
The chickens
Hey,
coming home
there
to
you
roost.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Chickens coming home to roost.
Mm-hmm.
One thing
And
I'll,
I'll
I'll
leave it at
say,
that.
one thing I'll say about the NBA that I think has changed over the years is storylines. They
Yes.
they base their schedules around stories. NFL don't need stories to make people watch. The
Mm-hmm.
NBA, a good story. So like that's like if that's just like if Cleveland wins again this year, and then they bring in LeBron to open up the year after if he doesn't retire.
Right.
Like that's what gets people hooked is the stories. And we know since Kevin Durant left Golden State, he's been looking for that elusive championship to prove he can do it without his father. But
And his uncle. And his first cousin.
Wait, which
And
one's the
hell,
first
even
cousin?
the first cousin is Clay, the uncle is Draymond.
oh my God, that's
The
great.
grandfather is Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Oh man. Remember, his uncle told him, "We don't need you no more."
We don't need you. We don't need you, bro.
Ain't that right,
Wow.
brother?
Oh, shit. He said,
We
"We
don't
won
need.
championships with you and without you." Damn.
See, and what made
Damn.
that worse is the one they won a couple years ago that they really,
Against Boston.
the one they really shouldn't have won.
I don't know
Honestly,
how they pulled that one off.
like because you
You
won.
want to know how they pulled it off?
How?
Real quick, you want to know how they pulled it
Yeah.
off? Tatum and Brown were not all the way ready yet.
Mm.
They weren't all the way ready. They were still in the oven. But Steph
Okay.
on the other end, who in years previous, even in the finals before KD and in the
Mm.
finals with KD, had not been proven to be ready. We knew he was Steph, but he was still in
Mm.
the oven.
Right.
That
Right. Right.
fine
Right.
that whole season, to be honest with you, leading to that finals against Boston is where he finally came into his own, in my opinion, as far as showing us that he was ready now.
Right.
He could go out there and be that, not just a 30-point 3-point assassin, but also when they get tight and they get down the stretch, I can go get us the buckets to win the game. He wasn't
Yeah.
doing that against LeBron and before KD. That's why they needed KD.
Right.
But
Of course.
when they went against Boston, that's when he finally was able to do it. That's why he got the MVP. That's why
Yeah.
he was catching so much flack for not having a Finals MVP,
Right.
because
Right.
people
Right.
felt
Right.
like he couldn't. No matter how many threes he hit, give you 30 when it was on the line. It was either Clay had to bring it home, or maybe even Draymond, or it just didn't happen.
Or Iguodala brought it home and won the
Yeah,
finals. Yep, won the finals MVP. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's yeah, yep, that's true.
Absolutely. So, um, you had brought up you wanted to talk about Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray.
yeah. I kind of reprised it though. I kind of reprised it because when I further thought about it, I don't know if you had got my other message, but when I further had thought about it, I just had said I basically would kind of base it upon asking y'all, what I'm saying, like, who do y'all think some of the quarterbacks are in the league heading into this year, that this is a make or break year. Obviously, from what I put in the text, I'm my top two definitely I think are Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott. I feel like these are make or break years for them. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Are there any other ones out there that you guys might be able to think of that you know what I'm saying, might want to add into that? I got a couple honorable mentions. Jared Goff,
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, yep, Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
on that list. I feel like this is a make or break for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I would
Not so
add
much as make or break.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
would add Justin Herbert to that list.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's a good
I
one.
I got one
That's a
for
good one.
y'all.
And for the playoffs, because he do what he do in the season. It's the playoffs that it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, before I make that point, I don't want to miss the one Raj wants to bring up. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Who were you gonna say that you
I
got,
was
Raj?
gonna. Oh, I was gonna say Jordan Love.
You know what? He another one of my honorable mentions.
Yep.
He another one
Jordan
of my
Love.
honorable mentions for sure. I don't disagree with you on that.
And it's weird because I was thinking about it. I'm like, damn, he did have a riddled injury season last year, but he really didn't ball the way we thought he was gonna ball. You
I
know what I'm
think it was
saying?
kind of contributed to the injuries though, because
Yeah,
he
no, no,
missed.
no.
Remember, he missed like the first 3 or 4 weeks, didn't he?
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. I know he had an injury riddled season, but I'm saying like he kind of left me like, all right, he got one more season for me. You know what I'm saying? To prove that he can do what he can do, like to get over that hump. But I know he was hurt. But I'm saying like it was one of them things. I'm like, all right, I'll give him one more season.
With
So
Jordan Love, I think it's the turnovers. He gotta stop
Yeah.
turning the ball over at them inopportune times.
Yes. Yes.
I I just came up with a little segment based off of this. So
Mm-hmm.
I got each quarterback here by division. So if you were to take each division, which quarterback, I want you to name which quarterback of the division you think has the most they need to prove this season.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like who needs to prove like to your point, it's make or break for them. I just want to do it by division.
Yeah.
First division here is AFC South. That's CJ Stroud. Right now they got Richardson / Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and Cam Ward.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
I agree, and I think Stroud is a strong second. Like he still got time, but if this season and next season don't go so good, he's gonna be on that list as well.
I probably would put Daniel Jones, me personally, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson second. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against CJ Stroud coming in right behind that.
Yeah, me too. I gotta agree.
NFC South, Michael Penix Jr., Bryce Young. Saints have Tyler. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Snow.
Yeah, and Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield.
I gotta roll. I gotta roll with the number one pick,
Bryce,
Bryce Young.
I agree.
Yeah, I gotta
He
go
gotta
with
he
that
gotta
too.
prove his worth. Even though I would say Baker, but he actually got
Baker
this.
been balling the past couple
Yeah,
seasons.
I
Yeah,
He
hate
been
to
he
say
been
that,
doing
but
it.
he's been doing excellent compared to what he was placed. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like
Yeah.
how people kind of wrote him off in Cleveland.
And Michael Penix is too young for us to, what I'm saying, this is
Yeah, we
just
got
his
another
second year.
another year at least.
Yeah.
Another
now
season.
for me, this division, uh, and I'm not picking one guy over the other in a sense, but all of them have something to prove, in my opinion, for different reasons. And I'm gonna go one by one quick. It's your division, R&B. Caleb, even though it's only his second season, they did a lot around him to put a lot around him, and he did not perform to the standard they wanted, right? And I'm sure he's gonna come out and be like, last year was last year. This is a new year. This is a new testament. I got a year under my belt. I'm ready to show what I have. When I look at Jared Goff, I agree. Like if I had to, I would probably put him and Love in the same boat. Um, but we know Detroit's been balling these last two seasons. They've just been on this steady incline. And Goff's been
Yeah.
to a Super Bowl. He's been there, and he
Yeah.
knows he has the team to win. Like they have so much. And for someone who came in and wasn't expected to be the guy, he's become it. And I know that they were embarrassed by that first round exit. He wants to prove
Yeah.
that they can do more. They can win it all. Jordan Love had big shoes to fill, but he's filled them to the best of his ability. He's given more than to Green Bay than I'm sure they expected. Well, not expected, but in a short time. But
Yeah.
he won once again. I think they went 11-5 last season.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to go out there and prove like no, we are still the best team in this division. From an organizational standpoint, historic standpoint, and currently. And obviously JJ's last, but the only reason is that he wants. Anytime you have a catastrophic injury like that, even as a rookie, you want to come out and say, all right, they put the ball in my court, right? They got rid of what you call it? Darnold. He's gone. Darnold's not the guy no more. They put him in the position because they believe he's the guy. So, in my opinion, they all have something to prove. However, the one with the most on the line, in my opinion, is Jared Goff. Only because only because they were the picks to go to the Super Bowl. Now, if they
Yeah.
fall short again, right? If they fall short again of anything less than a Super Bowl loss, let's just say, because if you go there, that's an improvement, right? I mean, sure, the NFC Championship is an improvement, but this team is destined.
We've been there though. Yeah, we've been there though.
Right. This team's destined to go to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
now the question would, to me, the question I would ask if we're having this talk 1 year from now and they get bounced out in the same spot of the NFC Championship is, where's the problem? We know the run game with those two dudes back there is bad. We know they got receivers. We know like the defense is pretty good. It's pretty solid, you know? So someone's got to be the fall guy, and it's going to be Jared Goff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one, man. Because I
Yeah.
got, like I said, I got him up there. He, the thing with golf, anything less than an NFC Championship or a Super Bowl appearance would be a fail. But again, with golf, it can't be another situation where we sit back and like this past year and look and be like, dude, this is on you. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Right,
is completely on you. It can't be one of those situations.
right,
It definitely can't. But it's make or break because the window. The window was only there for so long. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Before it's damn near time to try to retool and start over. You know what I'm saying? Good franchises are able to start over and just like that. Franchises like mine, historically, the Lions, we don't. It take us 30 years to restart. So, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's make or break for this brother, man. Like we deserve it. We need it. We gotta have it. He gotta give it to us.
and on top
Uh,
of that,
for
you have to start paying people. You know,
yeah, for sure,
like
for sure.
Gibb's
So
going to be wanting his money. I can tell you that.
it's
Hmm.
definitely gonna have to be a conversation coming about some restructuring. But as far as Caleb Williams, I'm gonna be a little bit uh lenient on Caleb from the simple fact I do agree that they did build around him last year and that they do have a solid team in place for him. But if I'm gonna sit up and say that, hey, Michael Penix is only going into his second year, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do the same thing with Caleb. You know what I'm saying? He's only going into his second year. So I'm gonna be more lenient with him. With Jordan Love, it's the turnovers. I do agree with you on JJ McCarthy as well because they just had a guy there that they knew could run this offense to top tier level and get high production out of it. And they allow him to walk in free agency so that they could go with who they drafted last year, who they thought to be the guy anyway before he got hurt. And JJ
Yeah.
McCarthy. That's high expectations. And with a
Right.
team ready, this is a Super Bowl ready team, to be honest with you. The Vikings are Super Bowl ready as well. Make no mistake about it. So
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy is gonna have to step up and deliver this year. They're expecting him to deliver in his sophomore rookie year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Raj?
Yeah. No, I mean, man, it's the same. It's the same with me. I think the expectations are there with Jared Goff, and that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because the rest of the guys, they're kind of like getting into their spots and trying to figure it out. Um, and it's championship or bust. It's Super Bowl or bust, and that's just the way it is. Because they got all the pieces, and nobody expected them to fall the way they fell last season in the playoffs. So I think this season it's going to be, you know, champion Super Bowl or bust. At least get there. If they get there, I think a lot of the Lions fans are going to at least build from there. I guess I don't know. I mean I can't speak for them. I'm not a Lions fan, but I'm just saying like as far as seeing this whole situation completely, you know. Because sometimes you get to that Super Bowl, but you might not be able to make it back. And like R&B said, that window closes, man. It's a wrap. You're
Right.
gonna have to fix it all. Like it's really tough. That's why I really can't speak on it because I'm like, I remember the Jets being at a place where we got to the AFC Championship,
2
and
years in a row.
yeah, and I'm like, all right, we're good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we're gonna build from here. Dog, we haven't been back since the last time that fumble happened. So
Not even to the playoffs. Imagine that. Back-to-back AFC championships and then don't even touch the playoffs in over 10 years.
yo, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that. Like, not one
That
playoff
that's
game.
that's that's the Jets' fault in their own though, because I'll be honest with you, they never should have
Yeah.
fired Rex Ryan.
No. I stand on that too. Like, I love Rex. I still to this day love Rex. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how crazy he talks. That's my coach. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they fired him. I hate the ownership. I really don't believe the ownership knows what football is about. I was upset when they fired what's my man's name?
Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was upset back then. I was like, yo, what are we doing? Because we need those fiery coaches in New York. But you know what? Like I said, going back to the topic, I honestly hope they make it to the Super Bowl, but I don't even know if that's enough. I think the Detroit Lions need to win it all.
Fair. Okay,
I heard that they real quick tidbit that I just seen dropped as I was checking my ticker. Looks like the Lions are talking to Matthew Judon to see if they can work out a contract to sign him. So the free dude that was with he was with Atlanta. I know for sure last year. I don't know if he been with them the past few years or not. I feel like he been there at least the last couple or so though. But he was definitely with them last year. I think he had like 5.5 sacks. He been around for a minute.
all right. That might be a good pickup. All right, because our last
Possibly.
topic is Shador Sanders, I'm going to save the AFC North for last. Um, AFC East: Josh Allen, Tua, Justin, and Drake. I got to go with Tua as the
Yeah,
guy. I got to go with
I
Tua.
agree.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
yeah, May. He's going into this is year two. He's got a few more
Yeah.
pieces. Fields, he's going into his first year as a Jet. He's got an option, so even the Jets aren't sure what to expect. We know what we're going to get from Josh Allen. Elite play, during the regular season. 30 touchdowns, give or take. Gonna have some picks along the way, some fumbles, some rushing TDs, but Tua, between the injuries and just everything, that's the pick. That's the right answer, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I second that. Give me Tua number one, and I think I'm gonna probably switch it up a little bit, and I'm gonna put Justin Fields in there at number two. Justin Fields got to show something this year. You're a journeyman now. You're a first overall pick with Chicago. I felt like he was done wrong in Chicago. They shipped him off. He ended up in Pittsburgh.
And then he
We
was
know
done
how that
wrong
story went
there.
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I could I'm 50-50 on that. I'm 50-50 on that. And we had a lot of conversations about that last year. I
Hmm.
just, which is why he's now a New York Jet. Because if Pittsburgh felt that highly about you and your abilities and your talent, why didn't they, opt to bring you back and sign you, try to re-sign you to another deal? You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that they couldn't have tried to work out something where they still brought in Rodgers but re-signed Justin Fields as well.
Hmm.
At least to be, let's see if we can get A Rod in here and teach him a couple things, whatever the case may be, and let A Rod off into the sunset and then it's his show. They didn't do that. They allowed him to
Hmm.
go to another franchise. So at this point, Dave, you're gonna be labeled a journeyman as a number one pick. So I feel like it's time for him to show. I don't want to go crazy over 3 for 4 in a preseason game or nothing like that. But I did like the way he ran the first team offense for the short time that he was out there. He did score a touchdown. I think it was rushing. So what I'm saying, I give him credit for that. Let's see where it goes. But right now, I have to put him number 2 on that list. Like you said, we know what we gonna get from Josh Allen. So number 3 would definitely probably be Drake May. But again, just going into the second year, and Drake May did impress in a lot of flashes last year, and he had a hell of a preseason start this year so far. He was damn good the other day. So what I'm saying, I think that's the order for me.
Man, I'm gonna go number 1, Justin Fields, just to switch it up, and not to mention, I'm so sick and tired of the Jets, man. You know, I'm so sick and tired of the Jets. I wish I wasn't a Jets fan. I swear, I wish I wasn't a Jets fan. I wish I could be like a Bills fan or something and have some type of future. Because look, I think Justin Fields is talented. I think he can do it, right? I think he can get us to the playoffs. But we know how this ends. He's going to get hurt, and he's not going to be able to play the way he's supposed to play. So we're not making the playoffs. So he got to prove that he got to prove me wrong. I'm so sick and tired of him.
Why you feel like he's gonna get hurt though? He hasn't shown a history of injuries.
He's always hurt.
He hasn't shown a history of like being hurt constantly. He's had a couple of knickknacks when he was in Chicago, but nothing where it was he played though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It causes some type of like effect of him throwing and playing 100%. Like for example, it was the first day of training camp. He hurt his toe. First day. We haven't even got through 24 hours of training camp, and this man's already getting wheeled off on a cart. So it's just like, I just feel like I'm not saying he's injury prone. Let me correct myself. He's accident prone. It's always something. It's like when he played in Pittsburgh, he wasn't playing 100%. Didn't he have like a hand injury or something? It was something that prevented him from throwing too far or something. It was crazy. But it's every
elbow or something.
Yeah, it was something that prevented him from throwing. And I'm like, come on. This is the guy we're going to get? He's always got a knick-knack injury that prevents him from throwing and running 100%. So he got to prove me wrong. He's got to go out there and ball out and end up winning at least 11 games. But we'll see what happens. The second one, I got to go with Josh Allen. I love Josh.
You trolling, huh?
No, I'm not trolling.
You put Justin Fields and Josh Allen over fucking Tua?
Yes, because we know what to expect with Tua. See, we saying expectations. Gotta prove something. Yeah. Tua
gotta prove something.
No, listen.
How my wife said, "What kind of Jets fan are you?"
I'm a real Jets fan. I'm a realistic one. But look, Tua, we know Tua is a freaking dolphin. Okay, he is literally an actual dolphin. Have you ever seen a dolphin in the snow? Exactly.
I actually don't subscribe to that theory that somehow the Miami Dolphins can't perform in cold weather.
Are you serious?
Yes, because I've seen them travel to inclement weather and play damn good football. I seen when they went to Buffalo and played that game and they only lost by 3. Tua played a damn good game. So I don't subscribe to the fact that they can't play in cold weather just because they didn't win. Like, I don't subscribe to that. I just don't. But I do feel like he does have the most to prove though, definitely. Within that division.
Well, I would say this. I know for a fact at the turn of October, going into November, all the wins go out the window. I mean, I don't care if they're like 6-5, 6-0. They're going to start losing in
That's not true
November.
because if that was the case, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs those years they were. The only
It was
reason they missed
because,
the playoffs last year is due to a bunch of injuries.
well,
Remember, he had the head injury again
yeah, he
last
did have
year.
head injury. Yeah, he did. But my expectations for Tua is very low. I don't I know that he's expected to do better, but he's not going to do better. He's going to
It's
fold.
not. It's not a. It's not just about Tua though. It's the Dolphins as a whole.
Yeah,
But I get what you're saying though.
yeah. And last but
When
not
you
least,
talk about
Drake.
just quarterbacks,
Yeah, and Drake May. I don't expect much. This is his what, second year, third year
I think it's
with the
second year I think, ain't it?
yeah, second year with the Patriots. Um, he's one of those quarterbacks that we're like, okay, we'll see what happens. So that's just my take on that because I don't really have much expectations for Justin. I mean for Drake. Excuse me.
all right. So I'm just gonna go
He
through
done
the other.
trolling up.
I know we're trying to keep it short tonight, so I'm just gonna go through the other ones quick because I do want to get to the AFC North and talk about Shador's performance before we sign off. NFC East quarterback with the most approved to me is Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
No doubt.
NFC West, I'm going with I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray. I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray.
No doubt.
Yep. I agree.
No doubt.
AFC West, it's between Herbert and Geno Smith. Um,
I don't think you can. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. You damn near can make them like a 1A 1B.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna probably do that. In my opinion, and then the AFC North, Lamar Burrow. Right now, it's got Kenny Pickett / Joe Flacco here, and Aaron Rodgers. And for me, I got to go with Cleveland as a whole shit show because they don't even know who the fuck their quarterback is.
Yeah.
We all know and we all seen who it should be. But the fact that this man went out there, threw for I believe 138 yards, I
Hmm.
believe he rushed for 19 yards, threw 2 touchdowns. Went out there, they interviewed him. He said he gave himself like a C- grade or whatever. And this man is still fourth on the depth chart. Is nasty work. Cleveland is so disorganized that you technically right now have 6 quarterbacks. Why? Why? Why do you need 6 quarterbacks?
Hmm.
Like, and it'd be different if one of these guys, or you had like 2 or 3 on the roster who were hurt, but you have just Watson who's hurt, who you've invested too much money in. You drafted 2 guys, and then I was reading something earlier. The other guy they drafted, I keep forgetting his name. Not Shador, the other guy.
Oh, Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel.
I was reading that there were trade offers for him potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. But then you have Tyler Huntley. Why? Why would you go out and get him? And then you trade it for Pickett, you know, um, and then on top of that now, and then you bring back Flacco. I mean, it's just so much. They definitely, to me, just have a lot to prove. Not even just as in the quarterback room, as an organization. Because my lord, like it is awful there in every facet. And then didn't they let Nick Chubb go? If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
did he walk?
Yeah.
I didn't see him sign with another team. Um,
I think he did sign with somebody. Who the fuck did Nick Chubb? I think Nick Chubb did sign with somebody because if I'm not mistaken, I thought I remember hearing something about like him potentially not playing until around week 8 or something like that.
Let's see. I'm
Double
looking.
check that. I thought he had signed with somebody.
Oh, he's on the Texans.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
remember we had that segment where we talked about
Yeah,
him and old boy being paired up together.
Nixon,
They
right?
they they current run him hit. Yeah, Nixon,
So,
Joe Mixon.
like for me, it's just them as a whole. Like we know what Lamar gonna do. He gonna be Lamar. We know what Burrow gonna do. Even if their offensive line still Swiss cheese. He got, like I said earlier, Raj. I don't think you were on yet, R&B. Burrow and Chase is arguably the best QB wide receiver duo in the league right now.
Right.
But we could see what Rodgers is trying to build with his team in Pittsburgh. We could see it. However, and I've said this plenty of times, and I'm a firm believer that if you don't know, like they say, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, right?
Yep.
You have 6. So and then the thing is, these guys are all different. You have to prepare different. So if you don't know who's going to be your starter, how can you properly prepare? That's I'll leave it to you guys to give your takes on it.
Man, look, that whole Cleveland Browns situation is a complete debacle, man. It's but I'm about to throw you a curveball.
All right, go for it.
Even though I don't like how Shador Sanders is being treated personally, just him singling him out,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they doing what they doing with the 6 quarterbacks. I understand why they doing what they doing with the 6 quarterbacks. I don't know. We all know that they're not going to be able to keep all 6 of them. This team has had the worst luck, period. And this coming from a Lions fan who had to live through Joey Harrington when it comes to fucking quarterbacks in the NFL. They've had the worst luck. Either dudes that look like they were supposed to be good, they draft them or they sign them out of free agency and they don't pan out, or they draft high and these dudes get hurt, or you make a mega move and make Deshaun Watson the highest paid QB in NFL history coming off of a motherfucking whatever you want to call that shit he had going on, and then he get hurt.
Yeah.
It's just been a continuous clusterfuck of quarterback for them. So I think they feel like this is what they got to do in order to try to make sure they got at least somebody on the field that can throw the ball this year that's going to be healthy or have some type of quarterback competence. We all know Shador should be we all know, I'm going to just go ahead and say it, Shador should be
QB1.
tagged to start week 1. He should be QB1. He should be tagged to start QB, at least QB2. If you want to have Flacco as QB1, I'm okay because what he came and did for y'all the couple years ago when Deshaun Watson went down, got hot, led you to the playoffs or whatever. Okay, saying the veteran. We know he not gonna play the full season, but Shador definitely should be QB2, man. It's time out for the punishment. It's time out for the bullshit. Just what I'm saying. Let's get to football now. Let's get to football.
And listen to this real quick. The Browns could easily
first team reps.
The Browns could easily start the season 0-6. Week 1, Cincy. Week 2 at Baltimore. Week 3, Green Bay. Week 4 at Detroit. Week 5, Vikings. Week 6 at Pittsburgh.
Damn.
They can easily go 0-6. You just want to go 3-3 through that. But that is a horrific way to start your season. And then it softens up. I mean, but the Dolphins can compete. Patriots, Jets, Ravens again, Raiders, Niners, Titans, Bears, Bills, Steelers, and Bengals. So I mean, it's not a favorable schedule overall, but them first 6 games are rough.
So 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 outside of the whole situation in Cleveland, I would say the quarterback with the most to prove in that division for me, damn, it's tough. This is a tough when you really thinking about it. This is tough because I feel like they all got something to prove in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? They all got something that I'm gonna just go ahead and say number one, all three of them. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow, all three of them got something to prove on the same fucking level. They all got something to prove this year. It's
I
it's it's all
I do agree, but I would put Rodgers. This is just me personally. Rodgers and Burrow kind of at a B, but Lamar at an A, only
Yep.
because Rodgers has won a Super Bowl. Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying that Burrow's off the hook because he's
Burrow
not.
been to Burrow been to the Super Bowl 4 years ago.
But 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 hold on, hold on,
He
hold on,
can't keep living
hold on,
on
hold on,
that. He
hold
can't
on.
keep living on that.
But what I'm saying to you is the media and Ravens fans are making Lamar to be great, which he is. But
They
this hold
making
on,
Joe
hold
Burrow
on, hold on,
the
hold on, hold on,
same
hold on.
thing.
Hold on. This is a dark cloud over him. He's won MVP. He's won he has other accolades, but R&B, this dark cloud of not even getting out of having good playoff play is hurting him. And he needs to prove more than those other two guys that he can get that dark cloud from over him. He's got to
Yeah.
prove that he can get to the almost said the NBA finals. Basketball just came up on my phone. He needs to prove he can get to the Super Bowl. He needs to
Yeah.
prove like he can be a great player. Because at the end of the day, when you think about great players, once again, like earlier, what did I say? The NBA makes their games on, right?
Stories.
Stories.
Yeah.
And stories also create in the NFL and the NBA too. Moments are what's remembered. Like for
Right.
me,
I,
as a Steelers fan, that game against the Cardinals, I did not like it. But
classic.
you know what I remembered? Big Ben going down there, 4th and 7, scrambling, doing what he does and not losing that game, getting a first down, and then eventually getting to Santonio Holmes in the corner. I remember a random moment. It was I believe it was the
Say Big Ben gonna force his way.
That's right.
I remember it was the Cardinals versus the Bills, and I remember they had Hopkins, and Kyler Murray threw up this crazy pass, and Hopkins,
Oh, I remember that. Grab that
three
bitch.
dudes
Yeah.
caught it, touchdown, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember Hail Marys from Aaron Rodgers. Moments are important. So all I'm saying is Lamar has to get to the point where MVPs aren't enough anymore. It's time for him to win some Super Bowls. That's the only reason I'm saying he's an A and the other two are a B, if we're not including the Cleveland debacle.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not including the Cleveland debacle on my list. That's just
Okay.
same as you. But this is why I disagree. I agree with you, but I disagree. I agree
Okay.
with you on everything you just said about Lamar Jackson. I don't disagree at all. I disagree that it is somehow weighing more than Rodgers and Burrow because one, like I just said, Burrow can't keep living on a Super Bowl appearance, which he lost 3.5 to almost 4 years ago.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I got both his Green Bay jerseys. I got his Jets jerseys. I'm A-Rod, that's my guy. we can't keep living on 2010 no more. That is 15 years ago. We can't live on that no more.
Right,
Like
but
15 years has gone by, and you the Jets debacle, and now you done put Pittsburgh in this situation where they waited the whole entire summer to bring you in, and now you there, and they've given you DK Metcalf, Fryer move. This new running back supposed to be pretty solid. We gonna see whether it's Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson that's gonna step up to be the number 2 receiver. How that lay out, but at the end of the day, it's expectations to be met. It's expectations to be met, but from you and from Mike Tomlin. This is make or break for y'all. So that for you for your legacy, if you want to be known, you feel like you're supposed to be up there with the Mannings, the Brady, and all that shit, is because we recognize you as until Patrick Mahomes came along, the most talented quarterback we ever seen throwing the ball. You got to win another championship. Lamar, and I know it's football, but Lamar's still young. Lamar still got time and it's hard, but he still got time to try to win at least one. And I feel like he close to it. Aaron Rodgers ain't got time to. He ain't got time. Let's just be honest. This might be his last season, so he got to go for it. And then as far as Joe Burrow, dude, you recognize it being one of these greats too. A lot of people would put Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson at least got the accolades that Joe Burrow doesn't even have. All Joe Burrow has is a Super Bowl loss 4 years ago, and we anoint him too. So he got to step up and get it done too. If your defense is trash, then hey, I hate to be that guy, but hey, fuck it. It is what it is. It's time for you to start feeling like you got to go out there and be flawless. You have to be flawless. They call you Joe Cool, right? So for me, I don't disagree with what you're saying about Lamar Jackson, but I feel like with Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow, I feel like them having something to prove is right there. That's why this is going to be the most exciting division to watch this year in football, right ahead of the NFC North.
I got another point, but Roger's trying to hop in there, so I'm gonna let you go.
Real quick, I agree with everything you're saying, Mike, and I'll even add this. If Lamar Jackson do not make it to the Super Bowl, at least, I'm not saying win it, I'm saying at least make it there, okay? I'm going on a limb and saying that's going to be the biggest disappointment in the NBA, in the NFL, that following season, because Lamar is playing with one of the best running backs in the league. And they've been saying for the past few seasons, before they even put this team together last season, the season before that, they were saying, oh, well, he doesn't have any help. He's running. He's doing all the runs. He's doing this. He's doing that. Well, guess what? Now that you got Derrick Henry, there's no reason for you to complain. There's no reason for you to go out there and say, well, I don't have anybody that's going to help me with the workload of getting it done, because you got all the weapons. You had 2 great wide receivers last season. And we'll see what happens this
Zay
season, but
Flowers got
he's
hurt
got to
before they
make it.
played. Remember, Zay Flowers was hurt. Zay Flowers was hurt in the playoff game.
He did get hurt during the playoff game. Yes. But
No,
now
he
he's
didn't
healthy.
play.
Wait, when did he get hurt? During the game?
Didn't he get hurt? I thought he got hurt before they played Buffalo.
I don't remember.
He didn't play against Buffalo at all.
No. I know that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, no excuses now. He got to make it. That's why I put him number 1 on my list. He's got to make the Super Bowl.
I hear y'all, bro. I promise I hear y'all. And I don't disagree with nothing y'all saying. But you can't tell me that Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow not saying the same thing. that they gotta make it. That they gotta.
Yeah. No. We're saying this. We're saying what I am at least. I'm saying I agree. All three of them need to prove it. But if I had to pick one over the other, it's gotta be Action Jackson.
If I had to pick one over the
Mm-hmm.
other,
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Joe Burrow
Why?
because I feel like I just said. I feel like he gets anointed just as much as Lamar Jackson does, and a lot of people put him over Lamar Jackson, and he doesn't even have the accolades that Lamar Jackson has
Hmm.
because
Okay.
he's had the talent. He's had they defense ain't always been this bad. It ain't always been what it was last year.
Yeah, I
Nah,
know.
I get it. Just like with Lamar and different things like that, I'm never gonna be one that'll sit up and blame somebody for being hurt because he has had some injury woes. But when he was healthy, I can't give you excuses from when you were healthy. You were
Right.
healthy last year. You were healthy last year. Hey, it's some of them games. Just being real. Joe Burrow put up numbers that damn near could have won the MVP if they would have had a winning record and made the playoffs last year. But it is some of those games that they lost last year where he had an interception or he had a fumble, stuff like that swung the shit the other way. So as the quarterback, like I said, he gotta know that he gotta go out there and he gotta be flawless. He has to know that every week, if I make a mistake or if I get a turnover, it could completely cost us the game because my defense is probably gonna be absolutely horrendous again.
That's a good.
So it's on him.
That's a good point. The only thing that I would say that throws our not our arguments off, but just looking at it is when I'm looking at it, I'm team is important, but I'm saying mentally, individually, they gotta look at it. There's a certain way that I'm looking at it that doesn't include the whole team. The team is important because, in a sense, you're only as good as your team. Like I said, Burrow can go out there and throw 50, but if the team allows 53, they lose, right? Because then the narrative changes. Don't matter if Joe Burrow had 4 touchdowns, 425 yards, and no picks. That's a
But
perfect.
what if he had that pick?
That's a perfect
That's what I'm
quarterback
saying.
rating, right?
It was games that he had those big turnovers.
Right, but you see, but the thing is, the narrative changes because the narrative is not the narrative in that situation, right? The narrative in that situation would be, well, the defense allowed 53. Joe Burrow did all he could. Now, if you flip it a little bit, let's just say he had 5 touchdowns, 500 yards, but he threw 3 interceptions, and then they lose by 10. Now the narrative is that, the narrative is, oh, well, Burrow's got to watch his turnovers. It just
No, no,
depends.
it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
it ain't.
Yeah, it
No, it
is.
ain't. The
Yeah, it is. If
narrative,
hold
the
on,
narrative,
because if
the,
they
the,
throw,
the narrative.
hold on,
No, fuck
hold on,
that.
hold on, hold on.
The narrative.
If
You
he
know it,
throws,
Mike. You know
if
you
he
lying.
if he throws 3 interceptions and the other team scores 14 points and they lose by 10, what's the narrative? The narrative is those touchdowns based on
The,
those turnovers cost them the game. That's not a
No, the
lie.
narrative.
That's just factual
Yeah,
information.
no. What I'm saying is the narrative. That's not going to be the. That's what we going to see as the narrative. But the narrative that's going to really be put out here, which we know is the narrative, is going to be that. Oh, it wasn't his fault that he threw those turnovers. This wide receiver ran the wrong. Oh, Jamar Chase ran the wrong route. T. Higgins was supposed to go under. Such and such. Oh, this block didn't get there.
A
That's
pick
what's
is a
going to be the
pick.
narrative.
Like,
When it's Lamar Jackson, that's when the narrative turns to, oh yeah, the turnovers cost them the game. He got to watch the turnovers. It's always
but
excuses for Joe Burrow. It's
but
always excuses for Joe
Lamar
Burrow.
only
They
threw
don't
what?
make excuses for Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
only threw 4 picks last season, I think, right?
He had to live in his shit. No, we talking about the playoffs though. But that a lot of that playoff game got blamed on Lamar Jackson
Wait.
and the drop
When they played,
and the drop.
eh, wait, which game against Buffalo? You're saying?
Buffalo.
Wow, I never
You
blamed
remember? You
Lamar. I
remember? You remember?
remember
You
blaming
remember the fumble? Remember
I,
the interception?
the fumble, but ultimately, Mark Andrews dropped not one but two passes in that game. Two big passes. Two big passes in that game.
The only reason that Mark Andrews dropped that one that got highlighted to the level that it did was
Because of
because it
when
was
he
at the
dropped.
end of the game and right at the end zone. Other than that, they still make sure they highlighted Lamar Jackson and every mistake he made. That's all I'm saying. Is that when they come to Lamar, they don't give him them excuses that they give to Joe Burrow. He don't get them same excuses. Joe Burrow get excuses.
A lot of players get excuses. Josh Allen gets his excuses. You gonna
Nah, I don't think that's true. I think Josh Allen got a lot of the criticism just like Lamar. Until last year when he turned the turnovers down, he became more efficient. But when he was turning the ball over at a high rate, he caught criticism for turning the ball over at a high rate. Now, the one thing I say, Joe Burrow has never been the type of quarterback that turns the ball over at a high rate. That's not his game.
right.
But when he does have those inopportune moments, it's normally the narrative they paint is somebody else's fault. It was a bad block or a bad route or somebody went the wrong way or miscommunication. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's really it's really how you look at it. I mean, last
Yeah,
season
yeah.
43-9. Um so well he was hurt the season before that, right? Because it's only 15-6. 35-12, 34-14, then 13-5 in 2020. I mean, what you're saying isn't wrong. You know, they want to highlight certain guys in a certain light. So like, but the same four names come up, and that's Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Jackson. Those four guys, and Herbert supposed to be in that conversation too, but he's just not there. But
I mean, we could spend all night talking about people who should be in the conversation, but
absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, we are here. It's 9:30. I know we're gonna stop at 9, but it's all good. Um, that's all I have. Is there anything else you guys want to cover before we sign out? There's actually one point I forgot when we were making our points about the streaming. I had seen the preview or the thing in the corner here for the Canelo fight. That's one streaming positive we've gotten so far, is that boxing has went to Netflix. I will say that I enjoy that.
I don't disagree, bro. But the only thing we got to see if Netflix gonna do right by us. Because one thing about Monday Night Raw being on Netflix, I hate watching it live. I always have to let it get like 15 to 20 minutes in, and then I watch from the beginning because it buffers if you try to watch it live, and
Yeah,
it act all weird. And it's the same thing with when the NFL games came on Netflix and shit. So I'm very, very, as a boxing fan, very nervous about the Netflix platform being able to hold up for all of the subscribers that's going to be tuned into that fight, man.
it's gonna
They
be.
better deliver.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be quite the fight, and everyone's gonna be watching.
Yeah, they gonna throw some blows, and I don't want to see no buffer. I don't want to see a good hit, and then next thing you know, the screen get the
I like fuck. I missed it.
then next thing you know, it finally come back in, and somebody on the ropes and shit.
Or on the
Like,
ground.
yeah.
Well, that's all then. I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Be ready for the NFL preview episode. That'll be on Sunday. No, I lied. Monday, September 1st, which is also Labor Day. So be in tune for that. And that's all I got. So if you guys have nothing else to add, we'll be back next week.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace.
All right. Peace.